Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me on this crazy journey to try to get this sailboat put back together. It's a Saturday in August. We've decided not to go camping or anything this weekend. I'm just going to stay here and work on the boat. So what I'm planning on doing today is we're getting an early start here. I'm just waiting for the coffee pot to catch up with me, but I'm going to try to get my stainless steel stanchions and safety line and that back up on the top of the boat. And I bought a compass to fill in that compass hole. It's a little smaller than the hole, so I went to the woodcraft store last night and I got some hardwood, a strip of hardwood that I'm going to cut a section out of there and kind of maybe bevel the edges or round them or something and kind of clean that up to go cover the hole and then cut a new hole through it a little bit smaller for that compass to go in there. And then I'll use a couple of those pieces of that also for the lights inside. So I think should get a lot of stuff done today, so thanks for coming along with me. Let's go get after this thing. Okay, well, I got the stanchions up on the right hand or on the front. I'll show you underneath here. My little ritual with the plate worked out good on both sides. So that's what those are gonna look like from underneath. And amazingly enough, I had longer screws in my stash of screws in there, so I didn't have to go to the store. Proud of myself. So I'm working on the front piece now, and it's a little trickier. So I'm going to take you down and show you what I did with the light, because there's the front navigation light on there, and see if I can get that done next. So let's go have a look at that. So what we have here is the place where this was mounted, and so the electrical wire, this is the light, and there's a C-bolt or U-bolt that goes over that, and then this wire is fed through the stainless here. And so as I pulled this out, I hooked a little piece of my pulling wire or string on there and pulled that through. So now I've got a piece of string through there. As I rewire this up with new wiring, I'll pull that new wiring back down through that hole. I may try and clean that hole up a little bit if I can. It's pretty gnarly. But that's my nav light from the front. 20,000 years of dirt and stuff on there, but I think it still works. I'll check it and make sure it still works. But this front piece has some issues. Obviously the guy that did this, at some point I think he ran into something. So that piece has been kind of hammered into some bended shape. He bent the bottom here as opposed to a straight one, but I don't have any stainless steel pipe to replace that, nor the rivets to put it in, or a replacement for that bottom piece. So it's gonna have to go back the way it was. So what I'll do now is the same thing I did on the top. I'll line these holes up with my square plates, drill those out, get ready to put that one back up there if I can, and then I think I have the wire here to run a red and a black lead as opposed to just that speaker wire. So I'll have actually red and black when I get back to the battery, which will make it a little easier to keep track of stuff. As it turns out, I might need some more wire, but I'm gonna do it all with that. I think I've got some right here. So basically a couple of packages of red and black. I also need to run some of that on the truck to get my switch for my dual battery in there, so that's why I have some of that. But anyway, other than the bent piece that I can't really fix, this chunk here will be ready to go back on board pretty soon. So that's where we're at. The sides went pretty easy, other than the scary part of drilling a hole in the boat. So I put the butyl tape on top under my things. I just have everything hand tightened. I think what I'm going to do is one at a time, I'm pull the screws out, put
some of my marine sealant around the head of the screw as I put it down in there, maybe squirt some down in a hole, see if I can just get those gooped up really good so that they don't get, no water gets back in there. Because as we know, water is evil when it gets inside of our precious boat. So cruising right along, here we go. All right, well, I've been working on these base plates for the front stainless steel pieces, so I'm not going to bore you with the grit I used, but I'm just going to show you what I've accomplished here. So this is what we would call before. And after a little bit of sanding, this is after. So apparently those are brass or bronze or something, and worth it to do this work. So one down, 3 to go. But yeah, I'm quite surprised at how different that looks. So I guess it's bronze or brass or whatever it is, and it turns green. So I'll clean those others up. These pieces right here are the same story. And actually, I'd really like to be able to replace those, because you can see these holes are fairly elongated. Let's see if we can get, we can see this one. This, in fact, this piece here, oh man, that's just maybe not salvageable. I'm just, if I ever fall overboard, that's gonna break. So anyway, that's the status of these. So again, this is the side that my cable goes through, my wire goes through, so that's why the string is hanging. There we go. All right, well, it's been a productive day. I got all my cabin sole all stained. It's just waiting now. I'll put some polyurethane on it tomorrow. And so now I'm working on the piece to put the compass in and cover up the hole that's a little bigger than that. The only problem is you got to drill a 7/64 inch hole to put the screws in, and one of the holes ate my drill bit. Dang, I knew that was going to happen, man. That, whatever wood I got here, I have some rosewood from Patagonia or something like that, and it is hard wood. So I got to dig a blade out or cut another one or whatever. So but that's the only setback so far, so things are going okay. I got my bronze pieces or brass, whatever, pretty polished up. Go back on my stainless on the front there, and so yeah, it's been a pretty good day. Hey, good morning. So another day out here working on the boat, and today's first order of business is to deal with this thing. See if I can get the drill bit I broke off out of here. So take that out and see if I can get that drill bit out of one of those holes. So this ought to be interesting. Okay, so apparently I had the camera set still for the nighttime lapse from the other night when Rachel and I were up trying to shoot pictures of the meteor shower up in the Uintas. So lucky for you, the time lapse of me putting my first coat of polyurethane on this does not exist. So that's all right. It was just me painting more shiny stuff on wood. So I've done enough of that already. So anyway, whilst I was waiting for that to dry, I did get on the internet and went back to my onlinemetals.com fellas. Found me a piece of 316 stainless to replace this bent one. So I'm going to get one nice and straight like that, as opposed to this bent all crazy one. And so I have that ordered, on its way. And then the mast, or the front navigation light, this little guy right here, is giving me some issues. I can't get it apart. I think these screws in the front or what have to come out. Well, we can see those little dudes, but not at all. Let's see if we get it that way. Okay, so anyway, so these little screws are stripped, and so I can't get new wiring in there. So I'm looking around for replacement for those, and that's going to take a little digging because I'm not finding that exact light. I'm finding stuff kind of close, but nobody's really got one that goes around the rail. I found a rail mount for a light, and then I can't figure out which light goes inside of it. So a little work to do on that, but that should be about the last parts I got to buy. So I think I'm fairly close to my second coat of polyurethane here. Feels probably dry enough. It's been about 3 hours now that's been drying, so the can says 4, so I think it's okay. It's hot, so it's probably drying faster. And then yeah, so I got my second piece of wood taken care of for the compass, and so this I'm varnishing because it's going to go outside. So this will get the same 5 or so 6 coats of varnish that all my other exterior wood has, because it's going to be outside. These that I'm going to put the lights on inside, I've just been polyurethaning those, and so what I've done is I've got a hole drilled for the wire, and then I've got my 2 holes for the light. So then what I'll do is I'll come in from the back of the bulkhead and put a screw in the corners to hold that there, and those will be ready to go. So yeah, another coat of varnish or polyurethane out here, and then a coat starting inside of the boat, but I'm not really trying to do that until it cools off a little bit. So that's it for now. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, well, here we have the fruits of our labors for this week. There's all the pieces for the front stainless steel thing. I have the compass mounted in the wood it's going into, ready to be mounted in the boat. And the mailman showed up again. So this one, gonna have to wait till next week before we open that up, because we've got to get this one in the can. So these are all the pieces ready to go back together, and when I join you again, we'll start putting this thing back